Welcome to my garden. In this video, I'm gonna take you along to the visit to my father. So I have been putting all the things together. I'm gonna be bringing him some things. It's his birthday, so I'm bringing him a gift that I think he's going to love, since he has acquired the love for plants and soil and gardens just like I have. So I'm gonna show you what I'm taking him, okay? If you remember, I was able to get some volunteer plants from my garden, and that's what I'm taking with me. I'm taking an Italian ice tomato, another tomato that I think is a cherry tomato. I am taking some ground cherries. I'm taking what I think are tomatillos and a red pole bean. So these are volunteer plants that came out of my garden, that as soon as the first frost comes, they're gonna die, and so he will be able to let them grow in his garden in Florida. I am also bringing him 2 raised beds that I got at Tractor Supply. Here they are, and my sister is going to be there too, and we're gonna help him set it up over there. They cost about $55 each. Never had anything like this, so we'll see what that looks like, but I have a feeling that he's gonna love them. Okay, so I'm also taking a ground cherry tomato plant that is going to die for sure in the next 15 days, so hopefully it does well. And a bag full of peppers that I harvested from my garden this morning. All right, so here we go. All right, let's go. You ever wonder what Florida planting zone 10B looks like in the fall? This is it. Look at how many plants and flowers options are when you are in zone 10B. Look at these beauties. Wow. That's amazing. This is Florida in the fall. So it appears that when you are a vlogger or a YouTuber, which I'm not, I'm just like stumbling into this thing, traveling and having plans of a video you want to share with, your community is a little harder than you think. So as you know, I came to Florida to celebrate my father's 87th birthday, and I brought him plants and a gift so that he could expand his little garden. I mean, his garden was basically pots, and but he really has found a love for it. And so here I am, the day that I'm leaving, and I didn't really record anything. We already set up the planters, and we cleaned up some of his pots. And I'm gonna just finish planting some of the plants that we bought here. And like I said, this is Florida's zone 10B, so his best season is starting right now, while my season up in Georgia is coming to an end. At least the summer part. It already came to an end, actually. So I'm gonna show you around what we have done for him, and hopefully you enjoy it. So this is an eggplant plant that I brought him on my last trip, and as you can see, still doing quite well, and producing eggplant, which is interesting because this is supposed to be Black Beauty, and as you can see, that has some sort of streaks, you know, golden color. See, like that one and that one. But and the one over there, it is purple, but again with streaks, so it doesn't look like the Black Beauty. It looks like the other one that has the streaks. But he's really enjoying his eggplant, and that's one of his plants he already had. Another one of the potted plants he has is strawberries, and I really cleaned it all up and took all the extra things, and I am extending some of these strawberry legs, as I call them. I forget what they're called. They are planting in another pot so that we can, you know, multiply his strawberries. Next to it is a pot where he planted a whole bunch of seeds, and he's not even sure what they are. But I know this is basil. Clearly, it smells amazing. I think those are peppers, but there are 4 plants in there, so we're gonna find out with time what they are. He thinks that basil volunteer there. Here is a tomato plant that he grew from seed, and it's a red cherry tomatoes, and it's already giving him some tomatoes. Now the problem is that he planted a lot of seeds, so he has, well, I mean, only 2 trees, 2 plants, and I think I was gonna separate that other one, but I just didn't have time, so I guess it's gonna have to do. And then it appears that we have 2 basil volunteers, and I'm going to show you where these volunteers, basil volunteers, are coming from, which is pretty awesome. So this is the source of basil volunteers. This pot, this is a basil that went to seed. He never cut it. It's there. It already flowered, and it's flowering again. I guess it's not dying, and all those flowers are going everywhere, which is causing basil volunteers everywhere. But we're not mad about it, and he wants to keep it, so we're gonna leave it there. One of his garden treasures is this papaya tree that is in his front door, or his front yard where we are, and these papayas are growing and doing great, and one of them is already coming ripe, so I'm gonna show it to you in a close-up. Hope you can see them. I mean, I love these papaya trees. They're amazing. And here are the papayas, just for you to get an idea of the size of them. Here's the papaya as my hand, and look at the papayas that he has. Pretty awesome. All right, and this is the garden beds that I brought. I showed them to you in my car, and I already set them all up, and we have the plants over them that we're going to plant in the planters, and we're gonna give him some kale and some parsley, and we're gonna have 2 pepper plants in the middle. And then over here I got some basil, not knowing he had so many volunteers, but that's okay. And then another pepper plant. I'm not gonna put too much in here because remember that I brought some other starting plants, and so I'm gonna let him fill in all the rest. But here are the planters. They did not needed any tools to put together. It was not easy. It's definitely a 2-people job, only because of how awkward they are, but really love them. They look really good with the house, and we're definitely enjoying these gardens, or the garden beds. Okay, so I wanted to let you know how the plants that I brought him, how they're doing, and they're doing fantastic. They definitely love this Florida sun and heat. This is the Italian ice tomatoes, and they're doing great. A lot of leaves now. This is the other tomato that I think is a cherry tomato. Here are the tomatillos, and this is the pineapple ground cherry. When I put him in my car 3 days ago, we didn't have true leaves yet. And look, they all have true leaves. Look how much these have grown. Look how many. Yeah, so that's fantastic. And then here's the red pole bean that is already getting more leaves and growing. So they're definitely going to be loving the Florida sun and heat. So we're going to be putting some of these, well, we're going to leave these ones in cups, and I'm going to have to tell him what to do once they grow. So I want to show you what inspired me to start bringing my dad some plants and seeds and pots, and now his 2x4 garden beds. And the reason why I did that is because for a long time, one of his very prized possessions, I don't know if I call them possessions, but it is this enormous avocado tree. Yes, it must be 20-30 feet tall, and actually 30 to 40 feet tall. He talks about it, loves, his plants, and the food, and see it growing, and he's always excited about how many avocados he's getting. And I realized, you know what? He's a gardener. He just happens to have one plant, or tree, should I say, and it's enormous, but he really enjoys the process. And that's why I decided to get him, more things, like I said, seeds and pots. And when I saw that he really was enjoying it, and we had then something to really share and talk about and enjoy together, I figured, you know what, expanding it is a great idea. And so if you have a family member that, especially if they live alone and may not be working anymore, get him into gardening. It's an amazing, thing to do. Not only does it forces you to exercise, move around, but you don't even notice it because you end up loving, what you're doing. And at the end, it's not only to feed, your body with whatever comes out of the garden, but also to feed your soul from the enjoyment and satisfaction of making it. So I want to show you a little bit close up of the avocado tree and how many avocados are in that tree. We already took down, I think, like 24 of them for me to take back to Georgia, but there are thousands in this tree. Let me show you. Obviously they are as green as the plant, as the beautiful leaves, but you can see an avocado there, and an avocados there, another one behind it. There's a few more over there, and there's a lot of them close by. Another one over there, gorgeous. Oh wow, there's a few hiding back there. See that? And then if you go around the tree, which is amazing, there they are, more of them, right? And so you think, okay, that's great, but what you don't realize is that when you go up there and then you start seeing them close up, here's there, then you go up there, and I don't know if you can see all of the avocados that are just in that branch. I mean, it is incredible. And the deal that we have with him is we can take as many avocados as we want, as long as they are at 10 feet or higher, because anything lower than that he can reach. And so it is just amazing how many avocados this tree has everywhere. And I don't know how familiar you are with Florida avocados, but for you to get an idea of how big they are, here is the avocado and here is me. I mean, how crazy is that? This is no Hass avocado. All right, so I'm standing or sitting inside the avocado tree. Look at this, they're just hanging everywhere. there are amazing avocados everywhere. You know, this tree is over 50 years old. My dad planted this tree in the backyard of his house. And actually, this was my grandfather's house. And now we are able to take advantage of this amazing, you know, tree. Like I said, there are avocados everywhere, and these are like a few feet from the ground. You see them there and everywhere, and even here. And so when my dad's hungry, he just comes out and grabs them, whatever is close to him, and he gets his avocados. And this is the tree from inside. Okay, so I am on my way back home, but right before I leave, I have to finish my father's garden beds. And I just received these worm castings, which is great organic fertilizer. So I have not planted the plants yet, so I'm going to put organic worm castings in both beds, and then I'm going to be planting the plants. Look how dark that is. That is pure gold. Okay, that's one. Is it the same? Feel the soil. It's all life. Okay, so I am putting this plant. This is a 2x4 planter, and we're gonna have 2 pepper plants on each planter, and then we're gonna do companion planting around it. So in here I have a green peppers, and this one is a banana peppers. They are not spicy, they're delicious. And I'm putting the basil here and the parsley here, so when these grow, these plants will protect these plants from the sun in Florida, because the sun comes this way. So they will get morning sun, but when the sun comes this way, these plants will protect these 2 herbs. And I'm gonna do the same with the kale in the other one. I have a pepper plant there, and I'm gonna put the kale here, so that this plant, when it grows, protects the kale. Okay? So here's how the plant comes, and always save the name. And this is a sweet banana pepper. So you squeeze the plant, put your fingers in between, and turn it over. Look how good that looks. And I just make a hole. And I'm gonna plant it as the same depth as the soil here. So there you go. And then don't forget this. And I'm putting it on this side so the sun doesn't hit it, and then it erases. So there is the sign. so that I know what that is. This one is a little bigger. So this is very soft soil because it's really good soil that we just got. So I'm just gonna make a hole big enough to fit that. Take the sign. These are sweet green peppers, bell peppers. Squeeze it, put my fingers underneath it, upside down. Beautiful root system down there. And then just cover it with gorgeous soil. By the way, something about peppers, they always like to be planted in pairs. So if you're gonna plant a pepper, and they don't have to be the same type of pepper, but they need sisters, apparently. So always plant two, when you plant peppers, always plant two together. And so here's banana peppers and green red peppers. This pot came with 2 basil plants. So I'm actually going to see 1 pound, 2 plants. I'm actually going to separate them. So hopefully we have 2 basil plants. If you can ever buy plants that have more than 1 in them, then you're doubling your money. Oh, I need to make a hole first. I'm trying to see if I can separate the basil plants, but man, they seem to be really close, so it doesn't look like I can. See how close they are? The root systems. Oh no, wait a second. There they are. That's 2 plants. Perfect. So I'm gonna put 1 in here. Parsley in the middle. Oh, it's cilantro, not parsley. Cilantro, there you go. All right, so we have 2 peppers, 2 basils, and 1 cilantro. So I have 1 pepper and 1 kale. The rest I'm gonna let my dad put on whatever he wants. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant this 1 pepper. And this is blonde bell. Look at the beautiful, oh, there's 2 kale. I'm gonna split them. Bonus. Oh, there's 3 kale. So let me show you. Here's 1. That's another one, and there's another one back here. 1 and 2. So I'm gonna have to split them here. I'm gonna dump them in here and split them. If you don't split them and you leave them together, then they will steal nutrition from each other. So here's 1. And I'm lifting the leaves so that I don't bury the leaves. There you go. That's 1. And see? That's 2. Okay. That's curly kale. When you first transplant plants, they go into shock. So they're gonna get all sad for a little while, and then once they get adapted, they'll get happy. Sometimes plants don't make it. Hopefully this will. So we're gonna water them so that they can start establishing here. And that's it. That's the garden beds for my dad. So my dad pointed out that this papaya is not quite ready, but it's already blushing. And so he said to go ahead and take it with me, and so I will let it fully ripen at home, and then I can eat it. So I've got a knife, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. There you go. Oh, it's cutting bad. There you go. Well, friends, I forgot to say goodbye. All the plants got planted. My dad is really happy with his new garden beds. And we had a great time with him celebrating his birthday. And now I am driving back home to Georgia. So I had a little stop over here to gas up. So I figured I'd just come in here and say thank you for joining me on this trip to see my dad and giving him his new plants and garden beds. And I hope that you enjoyed it, that you got something out of it, and that it encouraged you to maybe get yourself a few pots, a garden bed, and get your garden going. All right? Thank you for being with me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.